Today is that collective day of action, and I could report that there are people in Aruba, Barbados, Belize, Cuba, Curacao, Dominica, Grenada, Guadeloupe, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Martinique, Puerto Rico, Republic of Dominica, Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, St. Martin, St. Vincent, Suriname, as well as us here in Trinidad and Tobago, who are doing something to make this collective call for the Caribbean to be a zone of peace. This declaration was a call to the people of the Caribbean that we must stand firm, that the Caribbean must remain a zone of peace, that there should be no U.S. intervention. We declared that the sovereignty of the nation states of our region is not and must not be up for sale, that regional unity and integration are crucial to our development and survival in the context of a changing global order, and therefore call on CARICOM heads of government to meet urgently on this emergent situation and to adopt a unified position against this unilateral military deployment by the U.S. We denounce the so-called creation by the U.S. of an international coalition against narco-trafficking, as it is a seed of an alliance of a minority of states in this hemisphere that will be used to create some cloak of legality under the OAS to intervene in Venezuela, as was attempted and failed through the so-called Lima Group. And we further call on these governments not to allow the US to use their countries as a military staging point to attack any sovereign state, and in this instance Venezuela. We denounce the extrajudicial killings that the US claimed they carried out of 11, of course that now has gone up to more than 27, suspected narco-traffickers, and insist that the stopping of the trafficking of drugs, humans and arms must be done through interdiction and a legal process, with the criminals tried in courts of law and convicted on the basis of evidence seized. And we deplore the statements made that they should, quote, all be killed violently, as contrary to the rule of law, and thus which could take us down a slippery slope of giving the state the license to kill arbitrarily. The designation by the US, without providing a shred of evidence, that the president of Venezuela is the head of a narco-trafficking gang, is part of the well-known operation to discredit and delegitimize a leader or country. The US has no moral authority to speak about narco-trafficking when it was engaged in precisely such activity to finance the violent civil wars in El Salvador and Nicaragua in the 1980s that resulted in many tens of thousands of people being killed, among other well-documented activities. Nor does it have any moral authority to speak about peace when it is complicit in the genocide of Palestinians today and of many other crimes against humanity through the years. The sovereignty of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela must be respected, and that therefore we oppose any military intervention by the US or any other state in